In the year 2015 in Gary, Indiana, a 20-year-old college student, Rochelle Stubblefield, found out that she was pregnant for her boyfriend, a 25-year-old man named Derron Fuller. At that time, Derron was cheating on her with another woman. Surprisingly, Rochelle was not aware that her boyfriend was unfaithful to her. So when Rochelle informed Derron that she was pregnant for him, he was not happy with the pregnancy because he didn't want to pay for the child support. On November 10th, 2015, Rochelle went to her boyfriend, Derron's place at night to talk about the pregnancy and the future of their unborn child. However, their conversation turned into an argument. Derron was so angry and he was filled with rage, he stabbed his girlfriend, Rochelle, in her temple. He then strangled her to death and buried her near Williams Elementary School. After the murder, Derron then called her other girlfriend, who came and took him away from the crime scene. Rochelle died a senseless death at the hands of her boyfriend, Derron, who also happened to be the father of her unborn child. This is the story of Rochelle Stubblefield. Rochelle Thomas Stubblefield was born in the year 1995 in Gary, Indiana. Her mother was known as Thelma Thomas. While in grade school, Rochelle was an intelligent student. She always got good grades. It was while at this school where she met a boy named Derron Fuller, and they became friends. After completing their grade school, the two joined Pulaski Junior High School. While in high school, Derron's behavior started changing. He had anger issues, and he was also abusive towards Rochelle. One day, he hit her too hard while they were playing until she got a purple bruise on her arm. Later on, after completing her high school education, Rochelle enrolled as a full-time student at Calumet College of St. Joseph in Hammond, a private Roman Catholic college in Whiting, Indiana. She was studying criminal justice because she wanted to become a private investigator for the crime scene investigation, CSI. Apart from her studies, while in college, Rochelle was also a member of the college track team. On the other hand, her boyfriend, Derron Fuller, was enlisted as a soldier in the U.S. Army after completing his school. He was stationed at Fort Knox. However, later on, the friendship between Rochelle and Derron grew into a romantic relationship. They started engaging in sex. However, on the course of their relationship, that was on November 2015, Derron started cheating on Rochelle. He had another girlfriend whom he was seeing, but unfortunately, Rochelle wasn't aware that her boyfriend was unfaithful. Later on, 20-year-old Rochelle found out that she was pregnant. She informed her now 25-year-old boyfriend, Derron, about the pregnancy. Derron was not happy with the pregnancy because he didn't want to pay a child support fee. Later on, Rochelle found out that she was expecting a baby boy, and so she planned on naming him Amir Deshaun Thomas Stubblefield. On November 10th, 2015, after Rochelle had attended her classes, she went to attend girls' college basketball game. However, that evening she left the college game and texted her mother at around 5 p.m. She told her that she was going to meet up with her boyfriend, Derron, so she would come home late. At that time, Rochelle was already 8 months pregnant, and she was expected to give birth anytime from December 15th, 2015. Unfortunately, at that time, her mother was busy doing something else, so when she received her daughter's message, she never bothered reading it. Rochelle then drove to her boyfriend, Derron's place that day. So the couple met at night, and they started talking about their unborn child support. Unfortunately, Derron didn't want to be a parent, so the discussion only made him angry. So during the discussion, an argument emerged between them over the child support. Derron was full of rage, so he took a knife and stabbed his 8 months pregnant girlfriend, Rochelle, in the temple. He then began choking her until she was dead. He then placed her inside her car and drove the car near Williams Elementary School in Gary, Indiana. He then dug a grave near the elementary school and he buried her there. After burying her, he abandoned her car at Dory Miller Housing Complex near 1800 block of Martin Luther King Boulevard. Derron then called his other girlfriend to pick him up, so the girlfriend drove to the elementary school and picked him up. As they were driving away, Derron threw some of Rochelle's personal items, which included her inhaler, identification documents, eyeglasses, shoes, among other things, through the window. Later on, Rochelle's mother had been trying to get in contact with her for the past 2 days, but her calls were not going through. She contacted her friends, but nobody had seen her or heard from her. So on November 12th, 2015, she went to the police station and reported her daughter, Rochelle, as a missing person. The Gary Police Department started investigating Rochelle's disappearance. They went to her college and questioned some of her colleagues and lecturers. They informed the police that the last time they saw Rochelle, she was volunteering and helping people to sell candy at restaurants and stores. They also saw her attending girls' basketball game in the evening of 10th November 2015. But after that, nobody ever saw her again. On the 20th November 2015, the police found Rochelle's car abandoned at Dory Miller Housing Complex near 1800 block of Martin Luther King Boulevard in Gary, Indiana. They also found her broken eyeglasses and shoes around that area. 10 days after Rochelle's disappearance, the police received a tip from two of Derron's cousins. They told the investigators that Derron admitted to them that he did not want to pay child support fee for his 8 months pregnant girlfriend, Rochelle, so he choked and stabbed her to death. They also told the police that Derron confessed to them that he then buried her body behind Williams Elementary School in Gary after murdering her. After speaking with Derron's cousins, the police knew that they had to bring Derron for questioning about Rochelle's disappearance. So on November 23rd, 2015, they located him and brought him in for questioning. During the questioning, Derron told the officers that he and Rochelle were not dating and that he was not responsible for her pregnancy. He also added to the police that he didn't know about her whereabouts. After questioning him, the police still had doubts about his side of the story, so they freed him for lack of concrete evidence, but they didn't stop suspecting that he had something to do with Rochelle's disappearance. In August 2016, the police and the Lake County homicide team searched the area around Williams Elementary School in the housing complex. They brought their canine cadaver dogs with them to help in the search for Rochelle's body. The cadaver dogs were able to sense human remains in the area, and so the police began digging the area. They found the possible remains of Rochelle, but after much digging, they never found her body. It looked as if the body had been dug out and taken somewhere else. They then came back in January 2017 and dug again, but they still never found Rochelle's body. Rochelle's case went cold for more than 5 years. In the summer of 2019, the investigators spoke with Derron's former girlfriend, the woman he was cheating his girlfriend, Rochelle, with on November 2015. During the questioning, the woman told the investigators that she picked up Derron at Williams Elementary School in Gary on the day Rochelle had disappeared. As they drove away, Derron began throwing Rochelle's personal items out of the window. Among the items he threw out were Rochelle's eyeglasses, inhaler, identification documents, and shoes. As the questioning continued, the former girlfriend then told the investigators that her boyfriend, Derron, had confided in her that he choked and stabbed Rochelle in her temple, and she died. After this story, the police knew that they now had enough evidence to arrest Derron, and so they located him at Fort Knox in Kentucky. In July 2020, the police traveled to Fort Knox, Kentucky to arrest Derron. As police were arresting him, he passed out, but that could not prevent the officers from carrying out their duties. Derron was arrested. They then extradited him from Kentucky to Indiana, where they charged him with 1 count of murder of Rochelle, 2nd count of murder of her unborn child, and another count of obstruction of justice. Derron was taken to police custody and he was held without a bond. His trial began on March 2023, and he pleaded not guilty for the murder of Rochelle and her unborn child. During the trial, the prosecutors argued that Derron murdered Rochelle because he didn't want to father her child. During the trial, 2 witnesses took the stand to testify against Derron. The witnesses happened to be one of his cousins and also his former girlfriend. They both revealed before the court that Derron had confessed to them that he choked and stabbed his 8 months pregnant girlfriend, Rochelle, in her temple, and she died alongside her unborn child. On the other hand, Derron's defense attorney, Scott King, attempted to get the charges dismissed because of lack of enough evidences. However, on the 7th April 2023, the jurors spend a little over 2 hours deliberating over the case. They then returned back with a guilty verdict for Derron, who was now 28 years old. So the court found Derron guilty of murdering his girlfriend, Rochelle, and her unborn baby. He was sentenced to 94 years in prison. It is so heartbreaking how Rochelle, a young college student with a dream of becoming a private investigator with the CSI, was murdered by her boyfriend, who also impregnated her while she was still studying. Until now, the remains of Rochelle Stubblefield has not been found. May Rochelle Stubblefield's soul rest in eternal peace.